Hello everyone, welcome back to Conservation Nomad. Today I'll be talking about how illegal wildlife trade is financing terrorist and criminal groups. So let's get right into it. So first of all, as I mentioned in my other video that I'll link up here, illegal wildlife trafficking is an estimated $19 billion a year industry, which makes it the fourth most lucrative illegal trade in the world, right after drugs, arms, and human trafficking. The money coming from the illegal wildlife trade is bankrolling extremists, terrorists, and other criminal groups around the globe. U.S. filmmaker Kathryn Bigelow, when asked about the issue, describes it as a diabolical intersection of two problems of great concern: species extinction and global terrorism. It's a double-edged sword, and I do not believe she's exaggerating. There are actually a lot of examples out there how terrorists and criminal groups are being funded from the illegal wildlife trade, especially the ivory and rhino horn. I'm just going to mention a few brief ones. One really well-known one is the Somali militant Islamist group and Al-Qaeda affiliate Al-Shabaab, which claim responsibility for the September terrorist attack at the Westgate Mall in Nairobi. It is said that these groups generate up to 40% of their funding from illegal ivory, according to a 2012 report from the Elephant Action League. Many other examples can be seen in rebel groups in Uganda, which use illegal trade again of ivory or of gorillas to fund their illegal activities. So you might be thinking, why are these organizations using the illegal wildlife trade to raise funds for their groups? And it's because, as I stated in my other video, I believe it's not as monitored as the other illegal trades. So it provides an easier way for these groups to raise a lot of money so that they can fund their illegal activities. So because these terrorist and criminals organizations have been using the illegal wildlife trade, and especially the ivory trade, to generate funds, the illegal wildlife trade and poaching, especially of ivory and rhino horn, have surged to record levels. As former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton stated in 2012, over the past few years, wildlife trafficking has become more organized, more lucrative, more widespread, and more dangerous than ever before. And it is also a national security issue, a public health issue, and an economic security issue. So as you can see, it is a very, very serious issue. It does affect national security for a lot of countries and economic security, because these terrorist and criminal organizations are able to get a lot of funds through an illegal activity that not only hurts its people, its country, and its wildlife, but it also aims to create more destruction. However, I also found a research paper, which I do want to reference. It is by Royal United Services Institute for Defense and Security, and they have discredited original conclusions as to the scope of funding acquired by terrorist organizations through ivory trade. So in essence, the illegal wildlife trade will not finance the next 9/11. However, it remains vital for international communities to understand the importance of acting against illegal wildlife killing, and it remains both a moral imperative and a matter of national security. So the reason I was skeptical about mentioning that part is because it's very frustrating to see a conservation issue only receiving attention once it has become an issue of transnational security. So I hope that those of you who have got to this point of the video don't just disregard the issue and say, oh, it doesn't affect me, so who cares, and it's not as dangerous as she made it out to be. There are still lives affected, both human and animal lives, and there are still things that you can do to make a difference. So let's go right into that. So number one is to raise awareness. I've talked about this in many of my other videos. I believe it's one of the most important things, raising awareness. As I said, until recently, I didn't know that the illegal wildlife trade was such a huge issue. A lot of my friends, family didn't either. So raising awareness about the problem is the first and most important thing. And there are many easy ways you can do that. Either just talking about it with friends and family, posting on social media, like accurate and reliable articles and images and videos, And if you want to go a step further, you can look at organizations that are working against that and actually work with them, volunteer with them, and help them spread awareness to the general public. Number 2 is to observe and report. Again, I talked about that in my previous video about the illegal wildlife trade. There's an app, which I'll link down below, that makes this really easy. But basically, if you see some kind of illegal activity going on, either that is someone trying to take or buy or sell an illegal wildlife product, or a pet, could report it to local authorities, or even report it to national or international organizations that deal with wildlife and illegal wildlife trade. Supporting and funding organizations that are working against illegal wildlife trade, as mentioned before as well. There are many organizations that do this, and you can either work with them, give them your time, or even support them economically so that they can in turn get the resources they need to put an end to this terrible, terrible trade. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful, and starting next week, I'm going to be starting with a species that is affected by the illegal wildlife trade. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to comment below any species that you would really want me to talk about. See you guys next week. Bye.